Hello again, everyone. It's Wednesday over lunchtime. Guess what? People come first. I'm your host, Terry Earthwind Nichols, and I have the team with me today, and we're talking about letting go. And we have the author that had started that whole thing off. She wrote the book Choosing Unity. Starts with us. Jenny Langren, take us away.
Thank you, my friend. I absolutely love this topic because it's so much about teaching ourselves and teaching our people to stay within their sphere of control, to recognize what is within their power and remain there. It's so easy for us to be present with everything that's outside of ourselves, change that is going on, the decisions that are made by other people. And I know firsthand, and I know from the lives of my clients and the stories that they share in our work together, that it's so hard sometimes to let things go. And we say it sometimes, like, just let it go. But then we all know it's not that easy. And I love to share that a secret to change and a secret to letting go, if I might add Socrates, is to focus your energy on the new. When we let go of things, it's always to create space for something that serves us better. And we get to turn our focus and fill our minds with what we are choosing instead. I like to call, as I guide my clients to recognize what's a yes for them and what's a no for them, I like to talk about what's a yes for them. What are you choosing instead, and how much we value this? And maybe that's a good start for all of us to get going on this conversation.
Well, I can jump in here for just a second.
I guess I was muted.
Well, somebody had to take over. You were letting go. The Jenny's points are always amazingly well taken and very nicely presented. This idea of choosing, letting go, and choosing, and the issue here, of course, is to choose new rather than choose repetitive behavior. And you guys both focus on repetitive behaviors. Just because we've let go of an abusive relationship doesn't mean that we're going to not pick another abusive relationship or try out for another job that we don't like, or people. I'm always amazed that people are sitting in situations, and we all know them. Every time I would do a workshop, I said, "How many people in here know the person in a relationship that they should not be in a relationship?" And everybody raises their hands. Or how about if somebody is in a job that you know that they're way too over talented to do, and they should try for a better job? How many people know? And everybody raises their hand. And why don't we choose that? Why don't we let go of that? And it's the fear of the new. The new is wonderful if we can become confident enough to be willing to embrace it. And I guess that's where, the thing I always say, which is small changes practiced consistently create dramatic results. You have to be able to trust. And that's where, like with Jenny and her coaching, you begin to learn to trust your coach. And when they say, try this, you go, okay. And it's really important to be willing to do something different. And what I usually say is, if you want to be whatever it is, you want to be more confident, you want to be in a better relationship, you want to have a better job, what are you doing to have those things? What are you doing to be those things? Because all the work is in the becoming. It's not in the being. We're always trying to be successful, but what are we doing to become successful in any definition of the word that you want to use for successful? What are we doing to make those changes that gets us to whatever be means? I don't even know what that means, because I've spent my whole life trying to become. And sometimes I feel like I'm getting there, and sometimes I don't feel like I'm getting there. But the last component I just wanted to talk about is the thing that Jenny was talking about again, which is control. And to me, I sort of have adapted Covey's old three-circle concept of control, influence, and concern. And we have so few things that we actually have control over. I actually think we only have control over our thoughts, because I've been in many situations where I thought I was going to behave this way and I behaved completely differently. So clearly I don't even have control over my thoughts and my actions. So sometimes it's just my thoughts. And the thing that I have learned is if I practice being emotionally balanced, emotionally stable, then my control expands, not to more control, but it expands to influence. And then my sphere changes dramatically, because in that area, I can help change the way people react, act, think, and move, because I have created a positive environment of influence in which they can act and react. So
act and react. That's a biggie. You know, like I was saying to myself just a minute ago while I was muted, letting go is about presence. And you know, our fear of the past replicates in what could happen in the future, and ego takes over, and we've got all of that complicity involved in that. And I wanted to restate that, you know, the present is a present. You know, we hear this all the time, we read it all the time, and it cannot be said enough, because when you're ready to receive the message, ding, it goes off. So presence is the presence, ladies and gentlemen. And right now I'd like to pass it over to my lovely wife and business partner, Linda. Bring it in.
Thank you. Wow. Let go. What I see people hanging on to is an illusion. The illusion of duality, that things are good or things are bad. And it's like, no, they're not. They just are. And when you grab a hold of non-duality, where everything just is, you're out of the drama, you're fully present, and you're able to take your next step. And first of all, know what your next step is, and then take it. So that's what letting go is to me. Letting go of the illusion of non-duality. So, yeah. And that is definitely a place where you can stay mentally sane as well as move forward. You don't get anxious. The fears don't come. And if for some reason they do, because of triggered past trauma or whatever, you can just allow your emotions to flow right through you. Not that you want to ignore your emotions, you know, be with them, find out where they're coming from, find that understory of them, and, you know, do your inner work, work through it, and letting go of the fear that, you know, something's coming for you, or something's going to get you, or whatever. Just anything that's coming at you that you fear, you can just open your arms up, just like the ballet dancers, you know, just way out like this, and just let it all pass right through you. So that's kind of what's coming up for me.
I like the ballet dancer adage, because I'm married to one. And she's all over the place over there. She's very cool to watch. Very long woman. Okay, so that makes those long lines even more appropriate. You know, we're talking about letting go, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure that those of you who are listening live, thank you. And those of you who are going to pick this up later on the recording, you're probably thinking about some stuff about letting go, or, you know, there's a lot in the world, in society right now that needs a lot of letting go. Okay. When we get so focused on vendetta and all the rest of this stuff, letting go can't even pass our lips, let alone bring up from the subconscious to the conscious. And I cannot be overstated that letting go is just part of it. You know, it's going to come up again unless you deal with it, because anything that you think about and make a conscious decision about and cannot follow through 2 or more times, now it's a repetitive behavior. Now it's not just thinking about it, it's about part of your personality, part of your reactions in life and all of that. And so I believe that when you're conscious in your thought patterns, and that is Linda gives it to me all the time. Take a breath before you talk, because I know you're going to respond to this one, because I'll be talking or responding to something I have a lot of emotion around. And there's something to be said about that. And I appreciate it when she does that every single time. And there's times when I can interject something into what she's doing. And that's the team effort. And when you have people around you who care for you, allow them to be part of your team. Allow them to be part of that back up of yours that can help you. You know, like a mentor. Biggest thing about a mentor, and I mentor a lot of top executives all over the world. The biggest thing is I always have their back. Okay. I have no agendas. I listen to what they have to say. I get them to let go whatever they're dealing with, so that they then have the presence of mind and all of that lifetime experience to go, wait a minute, I have the answer. Or yeah, you had the answer all the time. You just had to slow down all the stuff to get to the point where manifestation becomes action, right? Jenny, hop in here. I see you just ready to go.
Yeah. Oh, you felt that. Yes, the word that's coming to me as you're speaking is clarity. And all of the times that I have taken so long to recognize that me holding on to this thing, whatever it is, this relationship, this whatever, it's just been such confusion in my life. And I ask myself, why am I not willing to right away recognize that this isn't serving me? And most of the time, it's had this dark cloud over it that I'm doing something wrong, you know, that I'm wrong, or I made the wrong choice. And I'm holding on to this sense of duality, Linda. And it's so freeing to recognize that it's just a choice. We get to step out of this right, wrong, good, bad, black, white, and just be fully present and see it, observe it, you know, and we're talking about reacting to things. We get to take a few steps back and just observe. And every day is an opportunity for us to make a new choice and to explore that and evaluate that and make another choice. And then we get to look at it again. It's all about the discovery and the journey and the exploration. So that's what came in for me when you were talking.
Lovely. Lovely. John, you got a big smile on your face. Why don't you hop in here?
Oh, it's just me. It's just, this stuff is so impactful. Even though I've been working on it for 20 years, it's just fun because it's right. And it sounds easy, letting go. Oh, well, I just let it go. It's like, yeah, not really. If you've been sort of repeating this behavior for a long time, new behavior is uncomfortable. This is one of the things that's really hard for people to understand. It's like, well, call someone every day just to make sure that you're connected or checking in with somebody. And so it's like, did you call anybody? Terry, you and I went through this. Call a couple of people, every week. And then I talk to you the next week. You're like, well, who'd you talk to? And I'm like, oh, I didn't call anybody. And so if you want to have different behavior, you have to actually behave differently. And new behavior is uncomfortable. It doesn't mean it's the wrong behavior. It just means it's new behavior. And whether you're practicing the right behavior or the wrong behavior, pardon me, Linda, I know that there's just behavior, but whether you're practicing good or bad, right or wrong behavior, if it's not the same behavior as it was before, it's going to feel different, even if it's really healthy. I mean, think about changing your diet and doing exercise and making time for your family and saving money instead of spending, and all the things that we do. Think about doing those for the first time, all of a sudden it's like, I can't save this money. I need this money just to be able to buy stuff, or I can't spend this time with my family. I got to be over here working. I mean, if you live like that, you're going to feel guilty going to work, and you're going to feel guilty going home. And that's not really a good way to feel. The things that came up for me, well, one of the things that came up for me was this, I've sort of had this Suez Canal, Panama Canal mindset. I don't even know where it came from, but it was this, all these boats just massed up behind the lock that then eventually opens, and one boat can go through at a time. And that's kind of where all of my, this scrambled thinking is. And if I can let things come up or go through, or however you want to phrase it, when Linda and Jenny are talking about that, it means they've given themselves enough quiet time to allow things to actually come up, rather than be continually reactive all day long, when basically what I've done then is kept the lock closed, and all the boats are squirming around trying to figure out how to get out and how to become a clear and present direction. If I keep myself busy, which is one of the things that we think busy means successful, and they are not synonymous. And this idea of letting go, to me, goes right along with, in the Daily Six, one of the Daily Six components is forgiveness. And forgiveness is a wonderful process of letting go. It has nothing to do with the person you are forgiving or the situation you are forgiving. It has to do with you letting go of the baggage, anger, resentment, and judgments that you're carrying around every day like an anti-Santa Claus. You got this giant bag of stuff on your back, and it's not gifts for other people. It's judgment, anger, and resentment, and you're carrying it around. And if you just let go of it, it is amazingly freeing. And it's just, that's why I was smiling. It's like, yes, because the first 40 years of my life, I was pretty much carrying that bag around all the time. And if you ran into me, you knew I was carrying it, because it was not a pleasant experience. And since in the last few years, 35 years since I dropped it, it's been amazingly freeing to realize I don't have to carry that, but we were taught we do. We taught so many things that if we could just change that perspective, it would be amazing how much easier it is to live. So I hope I didn't go over my time, but thank you.
There's no overtime here, let me tell you. This is fantastic. And thank you, audience members. There's some good comments coming in there. Keep them coming in. And this is a good point. I'd like to bring Linda in, because we're talking about this here in the last couple of days. We're revamping our website again for about the 100,000th time since we started 10 years ago. So Linda, come on in.
Yes, thank you for the comments. They're so helpful to others reading them and to us as well. So we appreciate that very much. Jenny talks about letting go means to take things one day at a time and enjoy the day without feeling the need to micromanage anyone. It's like, whoa, that's heavy, right? And letting go means growing and living in the present, like Terry was saying, rather than living in constant regret or denial. It means less anxiety and more peace of mind. She chooses to let go, preparing her heart and mind to grow, which I absolutely love. I enjoy Terry's work, Jenny's work, John's work, all of you. I just absolutely love learning from all three of you. So thank you. And the audience. I really appreciate the audience too. Yeah, my thing is, let Jenny's one day at a time. I say the soul works in onesies. The soul is just here to experience the experience. And when you bring your soul way down into that, kind of your abdomen area, you're just fully embodied. You're totally in your power. You're able to let go. You're able to think and filter and walk one step at a time, that whole onesies thing. So if you're faced with lots of choices, fine. It can be really overwhelming, or you can just go, okay, if I could only do one, which one is it? And then do it again. If I could only do one, which one is it? And just you know, make a new list, and what you'll have is an order straight from your soul, straight from who you really are. And then you can go back to the top of the list and do that one thing and then do the next. So it's not about like, oh, here's the pros and here's the cons. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. When your soul knows the pros and cons, so just let it come up with the one thing and be done with it. That's the speedy way in my mind.
I love that,
Okay.
Linda. And working with you and learning from you has been so much about staying in flow. And it's been so much about enjoying the journey. So I appreciate that so much coming from you.
Thanks, Jenny.
Here's a plug for you people in the audience. Okay, people come first. That's what this series is all about. This is a plug. Put your comments down there. Tell us what you're thinking. For those of you who are live with us right now, I'm watching for them, and we'll post them as we can. And you that are listening to the recording, thank you for doing so. And leave us some thoughts. You know, we'll respond to them. Okay, might take a couple of hours because that's the way the internet goes sometimes. But we will respond to them because we want to, because we're here because we want to. Nobody hired us to do this. We got together and you said, well, you know what, we've got a message. Let's get together and let's go with it. Okay, who knows? Might even get a book out of it. Plug. But, you know, the main thing is the main thing. And we're talking about people first. And, you know, people start with self. And if you have self-love, you can give love. If you have self-confidence, you can give confidence. And it comes back to you. You give love to 5 people, guess what? Those 5 people comes back to you. So you gave out 1 to 5 people, 5 came back at you. So it multiplies and does great things for you. And look for, first thing in the day, I listened to a speech of a Navy Chief of Naval Operations from a few years ago. His speech was all about start out with a win. Make your bed. Make your bed first and call it a win and go from there. And it's very simple things that create extremely complex and successful systems. Okay, nobody starts out working, not even an IT person. Okay, well, I've got this schematic. That's not the way they work. Okay, we're going to look at doing this job. So this kind of connects to that, and that kind of connects to that, and then that connects to that, and that connects to that. And pretty soon the system is built, but it's one thing at a time. It's not the whole thing. Okay, so be present with that. And John, you're unmuted. You want to come in?
Yeah, I tell you, one of the things I did learn, and you were talking about do one thing at a time, and I think that's really good. The thing, again, I don't mean to pick on Covey, but he wrote a couple of things I thought that were meaningful. One of them is start with the end in mind. And my daughter is an event planner and has been an event planner for, I don't know, probably close to 20 years. And she does exactly that. It was plan backwards, execute forward. Where do you want to end up? And then it's pretty easy to see where you wanted to end up to where you are today. And where you are today, what step do you need to take to get here? So if you know where you're going, it's much easier to get there than if you just kind of wander around and go, oh, well, that's the right. Oh, no, wait, that's not the right. Oh, wait, that's a good place. No, that's not a good place, kind of thing. So start with the end in mind is a really good idea. And then it's much easier to work towards making it in a smooth transition if you're heading in the right direction. The other thing I wanted to say was something Linda and I have talked about a lot, which is a phrase that's in the Daily 6, which is accept it, leave it, or change it. And that has a lot to do with letting go. Any person, place, or situation that you have in your life, you have 3 choices. You can accept it or them. You can leave it or them, or you can change it or them. And the thing is, you can pick any of those 2. Really, you can accept something and then stay, or you can change, accept it or leave it And then, you know, if you don't want to change it and you don't want to accept it, then guess what? That's when people get frustrated and they stay in situations and stay in jobs and stay in relationships that they really shouldn't. They can't accept it and they cannot change it, but they will not leave it. And when that happens, that is where relationships and my own self-confidence, my own sense of self-worth begins to break down, because I'm not willing to make a hard change that makes me feel uncomfortable. But again, all new behavior is uncomfortable. So I'll leave it with that.
And of course, we can't change anyone. So John totally isn't preaching that, like, oh, go change somebody. So you can change yourself to see if others will change. So yeah, that change it part is a good one. I love all three. In fact, that's how I found you, John. I was watching that video from your YouTube channel. That was so powerful. So thanks for putting that out in the world.
Okay, we've been talking about letting go for the last half an hour or so. Let's bring in some final thoughts and see what the takes are. And I'll wrap it up. So Jenny, why don't you hop in? You got to start.
Thank you. One reason why we struggle to let go is because we care, right? We care about other people. We care about the well-being of other people. So sometimes we get to work around this and start reframing things, because we have sometimes learned, maybe it's because of childhood trauma or because we were taught it that way. We learn that holding on to other people and try to fix them and control them was a caring and a loving act. So we get to reframe, and it's so freeing to have that conversation with clients and start calling things by their real name. It's so kind of you to let that person go. It's so respectful of you to allow them to play the leading role in their own lives and grow through their situation. That's a grace, that's respect, that's kindness that serves you and them. Thank you. I love this conversation.
This is a good one. Linda, hop in.
Yeah, I'm feeling super complete. Thank you, everybody, including the audience. This has been a fabulous conversation.
Well, I've got to agree. John's coming in, so I'll swing it down there. John.
Just two quick things. One is, and this may take more time to talk about it another time, but the thing that was so hopeful for me to explain to someone who I'm working with is that because your feelings are real, but they may not be accurate. All right. If I told you won the lottery, and then you'd be very excited. And if I came back the next day and said, oh, I'm sorry, I got the numbers wrong, you'd be very depressed. Now, both feelings would be real, excitement and depression, right? But they aren't accurate. And my son used to do that. He used to mistake anger for jealousy all the time. And it was like, that's not the right, your behavior is not relating to the emotion. So make sure, that's the thing Jenny was talking about. Make sure you can name it. You know, how am I behaving? Is this the way in which I want to behave? Is this what I'm trying to become? Is that what I'm embodying? And then the last thing I just want to say is one thing that I see happen all the time, which is there's a wonderful response to when somebody says, thank you very much. And that response is, you're welcome, versus, oh, think nothing of it. It's no big deal. I do that for anyone. What? Why would you say that? Somebody has expressed a thank you. Say you are welcome. That's it. Over and out.
Bring it in, Linda.
You knew I was jumping on that one. Yeah, and that is like being super conscious to say thank you back to them. Yeah, I love it.
Well, I get to wrap it up. I get to start it and I get to wrap it up. And I'm your host, Ambassador Terry. And this has been yet another fabulous conversation. Thank you for those of you who are listening live and brought your comments in. Terrific. We're connecting. We're doing some things, you know. And when somebody says something nice to you, say something nice back. That was really nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. And just be the real you. The real you gets a lot farther down the road than a fake you. Fakes, people eventually get found out because they're not necessarily real honest in order to put on that persona that they put on. But that's their journey, not yours. Okay, you get to be you. When you're you, you know, everything, even if the universe and the world is all around you and behavior and all kinds of crazy things, you still get to be you. You still get to make your bed in the morning. You still get to, you know, wear your favorite shirt when you want to. Those are the little wins that keep you going, because life is a journey. It's not a guided tour, and life is not here to tear you apart. Life is here to help guide you depending on your decisions. This is another wrap up of People Come First. And Jenny, John, Linda, and Terry, all thank you from the bottom of our